What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to go over Oceania's top 16 / we're going to get the final standings of who took first, second, third, and fourth through eighth, and then we'll discuss further into the top 16. So without further ado, let's go over Nationals Oceanic. So Nationals Oceanic was quite an interesting bunch of players. We had, this is basically day one, and this is who ended up playing against everybody in Nationals. After day one, we had our top 16, which was a grand total of 9 rounds, pretty much, and then the top 16 playoff. So we get to see the list here. This is pretty high and mighty, if I do say so myself, and I'm quite happy for that. So let's go over it all. A lot of great players. Vincent Rees took first, followed by second place Joseph. And then we have Declan. I'm not going to pronounce these names right. Arif. I don't know. Names are complicated. I'm screwing these up and I feel bad. So let's go over. First place, Vincent's list was none other than Gabubons with a Geogreymon to splash in. This list is quite interesting and he did quite well, and I'm very proud of this man. He took Geogreymon, which is a big surprise for a lot of players because the only benefit Geogreymon really has in this list, I'm going to be quite honest with you, is when it pops off, it pops off. If it's in your hand, you're kind of hard casting to kill a 4000 DP rookie, but when it pops off in security, sometimes it's just a win in itself. And, you know, the Ice Wall package really does help out that deck. Next, let's talk about it. The second place, Joseph's, is a ice, pretty much, let's call it Ice Bonds. Like, let's be honest, there's nothing really crazy out of this list. It looks like they are starting to integrate this Matt Ishida for a 2 cost, so it sets up for Digi-Evolution a little bit cheaper, especially the follow-up turns. And it really does help out gain an extra memory when your opponent has no Digi-Evolution sources with their Digimon. But, you know, the Ice Wall package, the Gabubons, they're running the reveal the top 5 Gabubon. I don't understand why, but hey, it's a Gabumon. So, really solid. Next, we got the Lilithmons coming in to play hard. So, Analog Youth and Takumi Abia just being the 2 cost tamers that they like so much. And it really does help out a lot. But as you know, what Lilithmon does is basically uses Lilithmon, produces Jack rates to spam a lot of memory, then use Mega Digimon Fusion to Digivolve into Zwart Defeat for free, to play Ginkamon Promote, and then an ultimate, either Rebellymon or Lady Deva in this case. So if Lady Deva is there, it was really nasty because you can start popping rookies and lowering their board state, and Ginkamon Promote will just keep swinging in and playing 4 Gazimon to shut down any memory tamers, memory boost, or any hammer sparks that your opponent might have, and or any ice walls that are in security, shutting them down completely, null and voids them. And then you had Analog Youth being Analog Youth to help mill your deck to get 2 pieces that you might need, especially taking out 3 cards. It's just another Itmon to get going. I'm surprised that it's only one of this Itmon. I would expect you want to play multiple of these just so you can keep cycling back your Lilithmons, but he did really well. You did really good for your 3rd place. 4th place, gotta say, fantastic. Another Lilithmon loop deck, but uses a splash of Skullgreymon and Mastamon. As the same rules apply, use Lilithmon to spam Jack raids to gain an extra free memory, using the Mega Digimon Fusion to reduce costs, to play Zwart Defeat, to play the Promote, which will grab your Ginkamon and Kinkamon underneath, boom, and you're just going at it for towns. And then you'll play either Gazimon or another ultimate to set up Lilithmon. So just how it's going to play out, and especially even if you didn't go even into Lilithmon, you can just pick out a security and then boom, get in a Gazimon on top of it, filling your board extremely high and fast, and your opponent really doesn't have any answers to what you have to do. And then the Tenyu and Analog Youth is just there to be there. Let's talk about it. The 5th place, Slade, is playing Security Control. And it's a very interesting list, in my opinion. I mean, it's a very staple list. Don't get me wrong. You got the Commandramon, the Geogreymon. Only 2 Magnadramon. This is where the interesting comes out, because usually you're at 4 with this one. But they play 3 Craniumon to hard drop and make it so it's really hard for your opponent to do anything. Then you have Orisamon to delete one of your opponent's level 5 Digimon out of the play. Bellastar being Bellastar, being able to spam Zwart Swarmer, Happy Fly Bullet, and just go to town with those 2 and just clear board. You know, the Memory Reinforced, Memory Boost, Wyvern's Breath, Izzy Joe combo, Zwart defeats to pop out of security, Millenniumon to remove threats off board, Shayukamon to slow down OTK decks because -3 security really hurts the opponent's deck, Magnadramon just being Magnadramon to recover you, Salamon being a Digievolution option for Upamon. Surprise only 2, but seeing as they're playing a heavy Craniumon package and Orisamon package, I mean, there's not much else you can thin out. And playing the, let's be honest, 7 most powerful black cards in game, Ultimate Flare and Iron Fist Onslaught, just ruins a lot of decks' days. Let's talk about the next one. 6th place, Daniel. We had a lot of Daniels playing, but it's Ice Wall. Only 2 Ice Walls, which is shocking to me. That card should be at 4 in every blue deck right now, because that's how you want to play it. If you don't see Ice Wall, your opponent can outrush you, and that's usually how most decks had an answer for. Rattlestar, just to bring, return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower to their hand, and then if your opponent has 3 or more Digimon in play, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the owner's deck instead. Trash all Digievolutions from that source. So if you play like a Commandramon, they respond with a, when your opponent is like getting ahead, you can use Rattlestar just to bounce it back and remove threats. Especially, what's nasty is this card is really nasty against Justimon. If this goes off in security when they are not under the effect of dedicated plan, this can revert Justimon back to the bottom of the deck, leaving them without a Justimon and losing all that source advantage. Hammer Spark. Davis is being Davis to search. Matt Ishida is the reason why this deck is able to warp into bonds very easily. You have Gabumon, just being Gabumon. Madoke Betamon, your opponent can't gain memory except with Tamer effects. Gabumon being the draw. Gabumon being, you know, if you play a Matt Ishida, you gain a memory once per turn. Then Lobomon. Then you have a Kendo Garurumon return. You know, Grizzlymon just to put a blocker, which is very interesting. Howling Memory Boost to remove sources and strip them so they can't attack or block. Blue Memory Boost to delay. Just how that goes. Then we do have 7th place, Justimon. Justimon. Everyone's like, what is with Justimon? It's just topping everywhere, isn't it? But it's known to be the most briggy deck in the century. Well, it's a very powerful deck in all. It's just it's when it goes off, and it will clear out security. It's one of the most consistent OTK decks, especially in the reason why it does so well in Japan, is it got its second wave support really does nasty stuff, but it also is a best of 1 format. So Justimon takes advantage of best of 1, because if Justimon goes off, swings in, OTK, boom, 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 your opponent really doesn't have an answer to it unless they can remove all threats. That's just how that goes. Best 2 out of 3 situation, Justimon still has higher percentiles of bricking each time. But if you do best of 1, it's not likely that it's going to brick too hard in a best of 1 setting. You're just banking on your opponent bricking harder than you do. So keep that in mind. We have Tai Kamiyas to give that extra security pokes. Justimon, the ace and bread and butter of the deck. Surprise, we have War Greymon. This Digimon gains security check +1, and then when digivolving, but also it does have the delegated plan. If you put it on top of the savior, War Greymon can restand, by the way. with this. It just needs a Justimon already out on board. So if you plan this accordingly right, you could set up Tai Kamiya, have, if you were given 4 memory and you have a memory boost, you can pop the memory boost, instantly go to 6, bring up your champion Greymon, Digivolve into Savior, play a Justimon, and then Digivolve into this War Greymon, allowing you to do 3 security checks with options shut off without a dedicated plan, restand, boom. I can see where the win con is here. It's just another dedicated plan with a body instead. So keep that in mind, that could be the way you win as well. Yes, it is a 6 memory turn, and how often do you have this outside of the matchups in security control? So being able to shut off their options and get it to the graveyard is fantastic. And the only downside is this Greymon doesn't have a lot of power behind it. And it becomes a 13k, which is fine in the security control matchup. Anywhere else, it struggles a bit. So keep that in mind. Dedicated plan shuts off options. Judgment of Blade, pretty much 2 swings, get 2 swings, kill off your opponent's Digimon. Your opponent is screwed. They don't really have an answer for anything else. And that's kind of how that plays out. Actually, to be honest with you, you can do this with just the Tai. So, and a red memory boost out. So this combo right here. Sorry, I forgot. You just have to play Justimon Seal. Seal will just instantly give the extra memory gain. But, you know, your War Greymon here won't do jack diddly squat in extra power boost. So keep that in mind. Agumon Digivolves on the Tai, Atomic Blaster, remove threat, Gaia Force, pop, blow up something. Omnimon for the Blitz win. That's just kind of how this goes. You know, Volcandramon, extra securities, Baho Hakmon, Baho Hakmon is if you have a Digimon with Justimon in its name, play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 or less DP. Very solid run, KC. So keep up the hard work. Next, we have Will. So we have Gabumon, Gazimon. It's the Lilithmon loop yet again, as I mentioned before earlier with the other placements. Lilithmon loop is just very powerful with its Megamon, Digimon Fusion, Analog Youths to instantly gain extra memories and stuff like that. Just keep in mind that Analog Youth does not activate with Megamon Digimon Fusion if it's being returned to deck, so he can't rest to hatch and gain you a bunch of memory. But it's just a great white tamer. They're 2 costs. Takumi is just to shut down all those level 3s trying to swing at you. It's just instantly gaining Ice Wall on everything. Pretty much the mini Ice Wall of the game. Gazimon shuts off blue, gaining memory, so keep that in mind, just how that goes. Next, let's talk about it. We had a Commandramon list make it into top 16. I took Commandramon to the finals, in which you'll find that video up at some point this week. So keep that in mind. Commandramon, 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 Commandramon. Blocker Commandramon is really fantastic, as we all know and love. Commandramon that replaces itself on deletion. You hope to get it off and go. I'm surprised they just went straight up for power boost instead of trying to add draw consistency, but I kind of get it when you have like Commandramons and Geo Greymons. You just want to focus on hitting magic numbers that can just make them either survive or be a little more tankier, especially this Commandramon is against a Mechanorimon. Nanimon being able to come in surprise. I would have probably put Shademon in just to add blockers, but there's no blocker in this. This is straight aggro focused, and it focuses on just hitting your opponent fast and hard. Ultimate Flare, clearing out boards. And Dark Side Attack is very interesting. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with play cost 7 or less. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's 5 costs. Yes, that's fantastic. But you could just do it with Ogremon and fuel your graveyard better, and at least it's enough to put your opponent at this weird situation where they don't want to be at, but it's a great option in play, being able to pop pretty much every ultimate except for an 8 cost. So keep that in mind. We have Izzy Joe being Izzy Joe. Then we have Tai Kamiya here to give all your Digimon a little extra oomph when they swing, so you don't lose them right away. Geo Greymon, just delete one of your opponent's Digimon surprise. Commandramon surprise is just to pop in to draw you 2 in security. Then Dracomon is reveal top 3, add 1 Digimon card with Drawmon in its name. Among them, Place the rating cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Magnadramon, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger recovery 2. And if you can play 1 yellow, level 3 Digimon, but you don't really care about that. You got Hagurumon for that draw 2. Just Commandramon being Commandramon. A really great job showing off Commandramon's strength. And the 4 sword defeat is a little overkill in my opinion, but it guarantees at least maybe 1 will show up in that security stack. Then we have another Justimon list. I'm very impressed with Justimon this time around. Let's be honest. Can we get normal size? There we go. So we got Ridemyavatar and Babidomon just being the extra booster powers. Justimon being Justimon. You know, shenanigans with Savior and just swing in for game status. Using GeoGreymon as a surprise Digimon just to pop something if it goes off. And being able to use a tourist mode as another form of Digivolving up. While your Digimon has Omnimon or Greymon in their name, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. So what you could do, and what I'm thinking he did, was allowing it so that as War Greymon can swing in for crazy numbers. You have Gravity Crush and stuff like that. Emergency program shutdown just to shut down your opponent if they're going to be using Ice Wall and stuff like that. Just use that, shut off the Ice Wall for a turn so you can OTK them. So keep that in mind. That is just something you want to do. If you feel like you can OTK them, just drop the emergency program halt as long as you have a Sistermon out. It's really fantastic. So let me explain what I think happened with this combination here. This is a play style that I'm really wasn't expecting to see. Probably has 1 tie out, has a line on the Greymon, and then has 1 Gravity Crush or 2 Gravity Crushes in hand. So what would happen is you would promote the Greymon up while you have the tie, Digivolve into Savior Hawkmon, drop 2 Gravity Crushes so that you can Digivolve into Alteris mode. So now your Greymon can at least survive a swing into an Omnimon. So your Savior Hawk will now have Alteris mode after you Digivolve on top of it. And you'll have a seal out, just giving you that extra memory. Then you Digivolve into War Greymon. And then you'll just swing in for games. This will help you have consistency. And this would help you win the game in a way that your opponent is not ready for you to do so. Allowing you to swing in with 1, 2, 3, 6 security with options shut off. With at least a body of just 13, 14, 15, 15k. The only thing you would have to worry about is Omnimon's Award or anything like that, shutting him down. So I think that's what the combo line was with that. And that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong and completely right about this. Nathan, I can't speak. Long tournament yesterday. My brain is fried. So don't at me out here. I'm just saying, Nathan, if you are watching this, congratulations. But if that was kind of what you were going for, let me know. I feel like that's what you were trying to do with this. And I think that was a smart play. And then you had just the normal Justimon route with dedicated plan. And you would just win that way. So keep that in mind. It's just really powerful skills. Then we had Alan here. Ikakumon was a very interesting tech for a lot of people. This Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no Digi-Evolution sources on it. So if you wanted to attack the Sistermon, get it off the board, or you're facing any blue deck that was shutting you down with a Motoke Betamon, you would just Ikaku, kill the Motoke, then just play out your turn like normal. Pop your memory boosters, hammer sparks, the Cocytus breath, just get the thing off the board, and just keep that in mind. You had Bonds of Bravery being Bonds of Bravery. You had Kendo Garurumon's really interesting card, being able to return that rookie to hand. So just very powerful skills. The deck is just what it is. It's Ice Wall, Hammer Spark, security goes off, boom. But if you are a smart player and you are predicting the Ice Wall or Hammer Spark in security, and you just need to choke them out for 1, and they gave you 1, just swing in and deal enough damage so you wouldn't pass turn. That's what I did with one of my games. Was I bet on the Ice Wall or Hammer Spark being there. I couldn't give my opponent too much memory. I really couldn't. I can't. If I gave him too much memory, he would instantly go into bonds. I had 1 memory left. I swung in. I had at least 3 attacks on board. So if any of those 3 securities was based on Ice Wall or Hammer Spark, instantly passing my turn, I banked on that, because knowing that if they weren't Davis's, they weren't another Matt, and it wasn't a Howling Memory Boost, but if it was an Ice Wall or Hammer Spark, I would have the follow-up turn, just because I would be in the better situation because I choked him again. Taking advantage of their memory is huge. You just need to know when to swing and when not to swing. Take advantage of choking your opponent. It's what really good players do when they're thinking of situations like that. So, next list, another Bonds player, but uses Forbidden Trident, which is a really interesting tech card. So one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 TP when attacking, or return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. Trash all Digi evolutions from that Digimon. So really nice to give your Digimon a little more oomph if you're expecting to hit heavier damages. Keep that in mind. We have Ice Wall. Of course, it's blue Ice Wall deck. We have Madoke Betamon shutting down your opponent's gaining memory through Hammer Sparks or Ice Wall's insecurity. So that's why they kind of just started playing this. But that's how I felt about that kind of play style. It's just know your matchup, know what you're doing. Next, we have Sam. Sam did a really good job. This list, really interesting. Wasn't expecting it. I mean, I get why Ancient Troymon's here, and I get why Shiokemon's in here. They both serve the same purpose in the sense that both will shut down the OTKs. Because the moment they swing, Ancient Troymon will suspend a Digimon, which, let's say it's Justimon, instantly rest. Let's say it's, Gabumon, instantly rest the 2. Your opponent is not able to handle these situations because Ancient Troymon just shuts down everything. Just the OTK, Green got such a very powerful boss Digimon. The only problem it faces is that it literally can't handle options. But if you can back Ancient Troymon up with super powerful options and make it a threat that they have to remove, Ancient Troymon is just nasty. And what is very nasty about this list, he's playing 2 Boulder Arms. So at least after Ancient Troymon serves its purpose, and either they have to remove it or do something they didn't want to do, you're instantly just going to go into Volder Arm. And Volder Arm is just going to minus 7,000 DP and 14k. Boom! Gone. Off this board. You kill off 2 Sistermons? Gone. Kill off a Justimon? Goodbye. Kill off a Bellastar? Goodbye. Anything that is too threatening, you just kill off. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind how this deck plays out. I think this is a very spicy tech. Ancient Troymon is such a slept-on card for a lot of players, and I'm telling you this right now, don't sleep on this card. Next set, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be annoying. People are not going to be prepared for it. And I'm going to tell you this right now, especially when we're in a hybrid format, Ancient Troymon's going to stall out for a turn and do what you need to, because they're going to have to remove him. Keep that in mind. Padomon is delete one of your opponent's unsuspended level 4 Digimon. Delete up to 4 of them. Bye-bye rookies. Bye-bye champions. Bye-bye anything that is unsuspended, especially if they're waiting not to swing in and they're just building up a board. Piedmon just comes in. Boom. Gone. You're not going to keep that board going wide enough for a Piedmon. And then once per turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon is deleted, draw a card, adding more consistency draws. Matt Ishida, I'm telling you this right now, as far as a work defeat, because extra security checks on this thing is nasty. If it dies, boom, they're going to pop anyway. You have Jawart Swarmer, Fly Bullet, and Happy Bullet showers. Delete all your opponents with the lowest DP. Delete all your opponents. Delete one of your opponents level 6. And then you delete the 7 or less play cost. So Magnet Angemon would go. Geo Greymon, Scourgemons would go. But no Salamon in this list, which is really interesting. But they use 1 baby and Lucimon. I'm very proud of this list. I think it's a very interesting list. Magnadramon, Seraphmon, trigger recovery +1. And then while you have 3 or more security, this Digimon gains security check +1, allowing you to hit more security and clear out. And it just gets bigger if you put it on top of Magnadramon. This list is pretty solid, and I'm really proud of Sam. I wish he got further, but hey, that's just how it went. And then Reg, Isaac. I'm not even gonna try this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gabumon, Starabi, Gabu, Madoke, Gabu, Lobo, Kendo, Octo, Ikaku. Then we have Gabu, Bonds, Ikakumon, just getting rid of threats off board state, Ice Wall, Hammer Spark, Kakaitis Breath, Davis, and Matt. I think this was pretty solid, guys. So let's finish this up. We have 2 more decks to cover, and we have another Justimon list in the top 16. Having a Monocoromon and Commandramon blockers to help out alleviate damage might help allow you to win game, even though you have the Sistermons. Sometimes you need another blocker on board just to take care of threats. Omnimon being Blitz, Gallantmon, security, extra check. I kind of get it with this. You can combo in with Guillemon to make it so that when you swing in, now you have a way of warp Digimon. Sorry, let me rephrase this. While you are on a falling behind and your opponent has a Mega Digimon, at least you can warp into Gallantmon and then be able to, just take care of and have another Mega on board. And because he is a Royal Knight, your Sistermons will activate and be able to help you stay in game longer than you wanted, that you might not have been. Analog Youth, surprisingly, is really good for this list because it helps mill and get your consistency up. It's a little bit better because if you lose out on your Mega or your Ultimates, congratulations, you now have a way of hatching and stuff like that. So it really does help out. And then you have emergency program shutdown. Your opponents can't use option until the end of their next turn. Just keep that in mind. You have Judgment of the Blade because when you're being able to swing in to your opponent's Digimon really does help out, especially with Savior Huckmon. What's really interesting is that's the only level 5 they're playing. I get why you want to. You make it so your consistency boost is Analog Youth. You're just digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, faster, quicker. You need to just get there, right? That's how this deck wants to play it out. So keep that in mind, that Justimon is just Justimon. It just wants to win by using security checks and just winning game that way. And then what blew my mind, Dylan Williams, is that you took Azulamon all the way to the top of top 16. I am very impressed, and I am very happy to say you did a fantastic job with Hexablow, Azulamon, Shiokamon, Majuramon, Crystal Pyldramon, Cordramons, Kolamon. Just really awesome and great job. You have Sora Joe just being Sora Joe. You have Davis. I mean, what else could you not ask from this deck? It slows down your opponent, especially if you start removing sources fast enough. And it just makes it so you can win game a lot easier. I mean, Gazimon here, right, while your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolutions in play, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. Might help out with the Azulamon play, which make him 15k very easily. And then even put in Watmon in here, he's now 17, swinging with like 5 security checks. This thing can OTK win in itself. So keep that in mind. Like, since everything is playing at a slower pace and maybe being hard playing stuff to get its consistency up, this might be a way of seeing a win in your category, because being able to remove sources and preventing your opponent from taking wins from you, especially using Ice Wall to shut them down for turns on end, you could definitely see why Azulamon did so well. So guys, let me know down in the comments, what did you think of all these lists? It's top 16 was quite amazing just to see Hexablow for the first time take the stance it did. So guys, let me know down in the comments. I would hugely appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!